fine defending resulted in a blank return for the current All-Star. Not so for Dublin's Vinnie Murphy, also one of last year's stars. He notched a very creditable 4 points from play out of his team's tally of 9. On the team news front, there are 2 changes on the Donegal side from that which started 7 days ago. Noel Hegarty comes in for Martin Gavigan at centre-half back, while Joyce McMullen returns in place of flu victim Martin McHugh. Hegarty turned in a marvellous second-half display last Sunday, and once again this afternoon he'll be flanked by 2 of Donegal's most experienced, Donald Reid and Martin Shovlin. However, it was in the forwards that the champions were in real trouble, with only McHugh, Manus Boyle and Declan Bonner getting scores. Dublin replaced the suspended Charlie Redmond with Paul Clarke, who had been originally selected for the quarter-final tie with Kildare, but didn't play because of injury. The other suspended player, Keith Barr, is replaced by Jim Gavin of Brown Towers. In a reshuffle of the pack, Eamon Heary comes back into the half-back line. Paddy Moran is a corner-back, where he played for much of the drawn game. Gavin is at wing forward, and Clarke starts at top of the right. There is the most wonderful atmosphere here at Croke Park this afternoon, but you'll gather from the many flags all around the ground that there's a lot of breeze as well, and the wind is going to be supporting Dublin in the first half. So it'll be just like last week, Dublin to play from left to right for the first 30 minutes. Brian White, controversial official last Sunday afternoon, in charge once again, and the Wexford official gets the 6th National League replay underway. Cunningham straight away has gone in on the 40 in Martin McHugh's position. The news from the dressing room, by the way, is that Martin McHugh has improved sufficiently and may well take part in this match later on if they need him. Tony Boyle starting like he means business, supported back there by Paul Beal, and up towards Tommy Carr, and comes on the 65-metre line, knocked forward again. Cut out here by Matt Gallagher. So often Matt opts to fist the ball away, some holding, and it's going to be a Donegal free. And Colm O'Rourke, I'm sure that Dublin will be hoping to have the same kind of start that they had last week and tear away into the lead.
Yes, Dublin have obviously decided to take the wind advantage again this week, and with the strength of the breeze today, they probably need to be 5 or 6 points up at half-time. It is very strong, blowing directly into the canal goal.
Declan Bonner has started to roam, and Paddy Moran has followed him out around the half-back line. Paul Curran wanted to take the free himself, but from the incorrect position. And they look to Paul for another big performance this afternoon. Majority support this afternoon, I would imagine, is for Donegal here. They would seem to have about 70% of the followers. Free kick taken towards Vinnie Murphy, getting there ahead of Matt Gallagher, struggling to contain it. Kicking with the wind at his back across towards Doran's corner. Martin Doran from Clontarf. Brian Murray onto Declan Bonner, trying to make some headway. Referee, one of the fittest in the business, right up at the play the whole time. Manus Boyle leaving it down there for Eamon Heary to come in and steal. Eamon back, his favourite half-back line this afternoon. Barry McGowan adjudged to have pushed Martin Doran. And the referee signalling that it's going to be a Dublin free kick, which didn't exactly please the legion of fans who've travelled down here from the northwest.
Barry McGowan, of course, has gone over to play at right corner forward on Mark, right corner back on Doherty is at left corner back.
Paul Clarke taking over the free kicking responsibilities from Charlie Redmond and from Keith Barr as well. So this is the first chance after 2.5 minutes for a score. And Paul Clarke has put it wide. That won't do his confidence a great deal of good. As you see, carrying a bit of an injury into this match as well, with the left leg very heavily strapped. Gary Walsh against the wind, fisted away by Donald Reid. Eamon Heary going back. Left-footed kick which Shovlin is under but drops. Gavin has it, surrounded by Donegal men, looking for some leeway. Vinnie Murphy, little push there as he was kicking that one. Gary Walsh transferring it to Donald Reid. Barry McGowan. Now Brian Murray, struggling to escape the attentions there of a couple of Dublin players, Jack Sheedy and Paul Beelan, pressurising all the way. Dublin taking the initiative at an early stage. Paul Beelan winding himself up to kick this one in brilliantly inside towards Vinnie Murphy. Matt Gallagher realising that he has to do a lot better this afternoon to contain the wily number 14. Joyce McMullen, way back around his own half-back line, trying to escape the attentions, and that's Noel Hegarty in there. Restraining arm there on the Dublin forward. Tommy Carr and Declan Bonner, indications that this is going to heat up already, and there's a Donegal player on the ground. Tommy Carr may well have pushed him or knocked him down, as he was the nearest Dublin player to him. Meanwhile, it's Tony Boyle trying to take it by Dermot Deasy there. Donegal man still down injured all this while. Play continuing, and now the linesman here bringing to Brian White's attention the earlier incident. This is the incident where the Donegal man was felled. Tommy Carr quite brutally kicking out on Brian Murray that time, taking the legs from under him. Well, the Donegal fans saw it, and the camera picked it up as well, and Dr. Austin Kennedy in there to attend to Brian Murray.
In last week's game, there were several incidents between Brian Murray and Tommy Carr off the ball, and they started again today. It was a very bad kick by Carr on Murray, and if the referee hears what happens, he will surely send him off.
Well, the referee has spoken to a linesman. He's now speaking to the other one. He's also had a chat with the umpires, and he's calling across Tommy Carr. Well, the rule book defines it as an aggressive foul. Number 11 being sent off after just 5.5 minutes. Brian White has sent off Tommy Carr for this nasty, crude tackle on Brian Murray, and I have to say I don't think he had an option. Murray still in the wars, still feeling the effect of that knock. It was a senseless action by Tommy Carr, who's such an experienced player, and his big influence now will be sorely missed by Dublin. Manus Boyle ready to take this free on the 45-metre line, knocking it short to Shovelin. It'll be interesting to see where they use the extra man. Donal Reid is drifting around looking like he'll be the extra player as Manus Boyle kicks it, and the ball going out over the end line and wide. And John Joe Doherty is also I think considering whether he's going to be the free player, but right now he's picking up Jim Gavin. I think it's going to be Donal Reid, all right.
Of course, the decision on who is the extra man will lie with Dublin, not with Donegal, because it will depend on who they mark and who they decide to leave free.
Well, right now it's Donal Reid, transferred back from James McHugh, back towards Donal Reid, out over the sideline. Mick Deegan ready to take this sideline ball. Mick, one of the most stylish performers around, lovely footballer. In towards Vinnie Murphy. Touchdown by Matt Gallagher. James McHugh picking up the ball and the tempo of the game. Noel Hegarty now from the Neath Columba club. Good rousing run through the centre this. Remember the point he got last week to tie up the match. Dermot Deasy, such a star on that occasion. Jack Sheedy going round Barry Cunningham. Still no score. Nearly 8 minutes gone. 14-man Dublin against 15-man Donegal. Brian Murray clearly still feeling the effects of that kick. Going in back there to do some defending, facing whatever perils may accrue from this sideline kick here by Paul Clark. Oh, it's over the bar, brilliantly kicked over. Well, that will restore his confidence after the earlier miss. So Dublin go in front. John Joe Doherty selling the pass a little bit short to Matt Gallagher. Again, not opting to kick. Knocked away from him brilliantly by Niall Guyden. Guyden with scoring chance. And it's gone over the bar. Dublin with a second score. Niall Guyden from the Raheny club, kicking over a delightful point.
That will teach the Donegal backs to get the ball quicker out of their defence. they're being a bit complacent holding on to the ball, and when it's transferred to Niall Guyton, he has a chance of kicking a point with the from about 40 metres.
It's come back out into the centre again. Brian Murray and Beelan chasing. A push by Malloy, I think. Dublin with the free kick. Paul Beelan ready to kick it. Taking it from the hands as he was the player who was fouled. Barry McGowan has let it drop down, and somehow it stays out. Martin Doran appreciating that he really should have got a goal there, but the outstretched leg, I think of Gary Walsh, denied them a certain goal.
Paul Beelan's long kick here from the free in midfield lands inside, and again the Donegal full back line get into a bit of a panic, and Martin Dorton had a great chance. Matt Gallagher deflecting it out for the 50, but every ball that's landed in there for the first few minutes, Donegal seemed to be panicking a bit.
So Gallagher, the one who just got the leg to it there ahead of Gary Walsh, and once again his interesting style of free taking by Paul Clark, positioning himself to hit this one from the 45. Another fine score, a second point for Paul Clark, both of them coming from frees, the earlier one out around the sideline. So all the scoring is done by the Dubs. Well, we're going to have another one of those game of two halves this weekend. This drops out to Niall Guyton. Nicely forward for Doran, denied the goal a little while ago. Gamely taking it on, Guyton taking the responsibility, and he kicks over another one. Well, he scored a point last week, now he's got two. This is a very good start by Dublin. It's a real test of their character as well, down to 14 players. Nice confident play here.
Martin Doran again getting the ball out in front of Barry McGowan, laying it off nicely to Niall Guyton, who has plenty of room. One of the advantages for Dublin now with only 5 forwards is that their forward line is going to have much more space to operate in.
Heary getting it forward, but Shublin has it. Surrounded there and overholding. It's going to be a free to Dublin. Everything going very nicely for the team bidding to win an 8th league title. Paul Clark's kicking so far has been excellent. Again, he just stands there, composes himself. It's a beautiful kicker of a dead ball. That's gone over. Seems to be drifting away towards the left-hand post, but it curled inside nicely. And so there's a third point from a free for Paul Clark. 3 from 4 so far, just missed the first one. The All-Ireland champion still struggling to show the kind of urgency they displayed in the second half last Sunday. Jack Sheedy trying to pick out Vinnie Murphy. Seemed to be Matt Gallagher's fist that touched that one. Yes, it was, and it's gone by for a 45, the second of the match. Well, Paul Clark standing at right angles to it, and then coming up to attempt his kick. Same result again. He's in terrific form. Well, I doubt very much if Charlie Redmond or Keith Barr could have done any better. Brian McInniff out of the dugout on his feet there to call out some instructions to his half-back line in particular. They're being beaten at midfield, but Brian Murray tries to do something about that. There's a run forward by Barry McGowan, which he hasn't noted, on towards Tony Boyle instead. Now can Boyle set up the first chance? Joyce McMullen didn't hand pass it as he would have wished. Instead it's picked up by Paddy Moran once again, blocked. Joyce McMullen and Brian Murray trying to deny Dublin space to come out and be creative. Out it comes to Guyton. Niall Guyton back from his left half forward position. Up it goes to Jim Gavin. It's Gavin there against John Joe Doherty on his left boot. Another very true kick and another very fine point. Jim Gavin, one of the players I suppose who has a lot to prove, has hit over a marvellous score. He was involved in setting up another chance earlier on.
Again, Dublin making very intelligent use of their minority of players insofar as they're drawing everybody out the field and leaving Murphy and Gavin inside, and Gavin has plenty of room when he wins the ball in a one-on-one situation to kick a great point.
Well, Donegal not letting the ball do the work, playing into the wind, trying to hold it up, but they'll need a couple of scores. That's not a good ball. It reaches Paddy Moran, defiantly back towards Paul Clark. flicked it on, brilliantly so for Martin Doran. He's got Gavin to his right. Still Doran wants to get his score as well. Lays it outside for Vinnie Murphy. And Vinnie Murphy trying to finish off the opposition in the first half. From Trinity Gales, Vinnie's first point, still only 23. His club based in the Holy Trinity Parish in Donegal. And an injury here. Looks like being Martin Doran, I think, who may have picked up the injury.
Martin Doran does very well here. There was a chance of a goal for a minute if he had to give it inside to Jim Gavin, but he picks out Vinnie Murphy and he kicks a great point off his right foot. Donegal are adding to their own problems by their full forward line coming right out the field, and when the players get it in midfield, they've known to deliver the ball inside too.
Well, the All-Ireland champions will feel a bit humiliated if they go in with a blank scoreline. Down by Beelan, only as far as the waiting James McHugh. And you wonder whether Martin McHugh will be in pretty soon. This is Noel Hegarty. Transformed the Donegal team at centre half back for the second half last Sunday. Standing there on the 45-metre line. Manus Boyle was ready to take it from the ground, and the referee gets in the way between Tony Boyle and Dermot Deasy. Well, he was a controversial figure last week. He was, I think, just trying to get out of the way and allow the two lads have free rein to come in and challenge for it. So the jump ball, Malloy and Jack Sheedy. Beelan there too, picked up here by Barry Cunningham, trying to feed it back there, and it's kicked and it's gone wide. James McHugh was the one who had the shot. The kick out taken very quickly. John O'Leary's inclined to do that, catches a lot of people. Mick Deegan's made a lot of ground. Going round Manus Boyle, kicked into the centre, hopefully across towards Vinnie Murphy, who made a very good diagonal run with 2.5 minutes to go to half time. The kick here by Jim Gavin on his left boot, and that's gone wide. Well, he scored a point earlier on, Jim Gavin, from Round Towers out in Clondalkin.
I'm sure Donegal won't lie down under this deficit, but they really need to get a couple of points on the board before half-time to put them in with a chance.
They're struggling at this stage just to set up chances. This is a bit better. Hegarty going by, and a very, very personal foul, even if the word personal foul doesn't appear in the rule book anymore, by Eamon Heary. A little bit bemused as the referee calls him back, and the name, I think, is going in the book. So we've had a sending off of Tommy Carr, we've had a booking now for Eamon Heary. Donegal have the free kick, Manus Boyle preparing to take it. The net maker from Killybegs, Donegal's number 15. About 43 metres out. De Hill in defiant mood, wishing the ball away from their goal, drops down. And that was Barry Cunningham coming in to try and kick it, but it goes wide. There were a lot of defenders in there. Well, there isn't too much space on Hill 16 this afternoon. There never is when Dublin are in there. Inside the final minute of a very one-sided first half. And who would have believed it possible when Dublin were reduced to 14 men after 5.5 minutes. John Joe Doherty copped a high one from the falling Paul Clark. It was very much accidental. Donegal just seemed to be restructuring their arrangement with regards to the free man. Niall Guidon's now been marked by Donal Reid, and it appears to be Noel Hegarty who's been encouraged to go forward. Going forward right now is the aforementioned Donal Reid. Back to James McHugh. Bustle gets by well. Donegal looking for their first score in this match. Can they get it in the final seconds of the first half from Manus Boyle's kick? Not so, not so. The flags flying defiantly on Hill 16. Dublin fans who followed their team down the years without a great deal of success in recent years, looking for another national success. We're 20 seconds into injury time. It's 8 points to 0. Jack Sheedy chasing and winning. Going by Malloy with some style. Jack Sheedy injecting pace into the attack. Beating James McHugh across towards Paul Clark, couldn't hold it. Gavin is going in there to try and make a challenge. In fact, it's Niall Guyden. Guyden making a run across from his left half-forward position. This is Jim Gavin, opening up the play towards Eamon Heary. Heary against Joyce McMullen. Guyden fisting it judiciously forward. Heary, love to score, was in the attack for the last couple of games. And just dropped over Gary was, but waiting there was John Joe Doherty to deprive Heary of a goal for Dublin. That all looked a bit innocent there just a few seconds ago, but Dublin could quite easily have scored a goal. Hegarty carrying the ball forward now, showing a bit of adventure and style. James McHugh, Donegal beginning to play. Perhaps a portent of what we'll see in the second 30 minutes. We're well into injury time. Manus Boyle has got the free. The jeering Dubliners hoping to see the scoreline remain blank against Donegal. Manus Boyle looking for a bit of respectability before half-time, and he's kicked a point from a free in the second minute of injury time. And the referee has terminated the first half. It's been a surprising and amazing first half in some respects. Tommy Carr sent off after 5.5 minutes for a rash tackle on Brian Murray. But the 14 men have done well. Paul Clark has kicked 4 splendid points from frees, and at half-time the scoreline reads Dublin 8 points, Donegal 1. Wilbur is Sylvester Maguire, who's just been introduced by Donegal, I think in place of Joyce McMullen. And Sylvester, who played some marvellous football during the league campaign, I recall seeing him play against Cavan before Christmas, and really he's a name for the future. He's gone into centre half forward. The Dublin half-forward line, by clever manoeuvring, have tried to deny Donegal what they want to do, which is to have Noel Hegarty as their free player. Straight away, Paul Clark went into market, but he's got free now. So now it's up to Donegal, the champions. Cunningham kicking it over the bar. What a start! Barry Cunningham from Killybegs, his first point of the match, and it's 8 points to 2. They came from 5 points down last week. Can they now bridge a 7-point gap?
And Donegal, of course, are not going to lie down because they're not All-Ireland champions for nothing. And a good ball from Noel Hegarty finds Barry Cunningham, who kicks a very good point.
It's going to be a test of nerve, steel and resolve for Dublin. Brian Murray trying to respond. It's won by Niall Guyden here against Donal Reid. Reid doing well. I think he's a bit happier now that he's back marking Niall Guyden, who'd begun to score a bit. He got 2 points in the first 30 minutes. Noel Hegarty has been delegated as the free player. Guyden kicking it infield. Jack Sheedy, number 9, carrying it on, kicking. Well, they may get some chances in the second half in spite of the strong breeze, and they'll need to be a bit more accurate than that. It was a good opening 30 minutes display by the Dublin forward line. They kicked some very good points. Gary Walsh, wind assisted towards Noel Hegarty, touched it down for Anthony Malloy to come onto, pushed by Martin Doran, allowed an advantage. Heary, Sheedy again, belting it forward towards Vinnie Murphy, getting there ahead of Matt Gallagher, transferred to Paul Clark, kicking, and he's put it again to the left, and another wide. 2 wides by Dublin in the second half. That's 8 in all. Phelan fouled by Sylvester Maguire. A blow to the face, a painful one at that. He was back there supporting Eamon Heary when he picked up the knock. Referee had a word there with Sylvester Maguire, but no booking for this foul on Paul Beelan.
Paul Beelan is doing a tremendous amount of work for Dublin again today, as last Sunday. Tackled by Sylvester Maguire is high, but it's not particularly dangerous. And Dublin midfield is far more mobile than Donegal's. And that's one of the reasons why Dublin are enjoying so much possession.
It's going to be Mick Deegan to kick it. Nice fetch by Jack Sheedy, but he was restraining Anthony Malloy in the view of referee Brian White. So the free kick going Donegal's way. Well, Donegal now will have to be scoring freely to really make a tight finish of this one. Guyden going back to support. That's very good support play. Dublin counter-attacking so quickly. Eamon Heary on the trusty left boot inside the cover of the backs for Paul Clark to run across to. It's a mobile Dublin forward unit. Shublin. Clark nonetheless getting his kick in. Vinnie Murphy having to go back to retrieve it on the right boot, looking for the point at the start of the second half. Gary Walsh nursing it, challenged, taking it out over the end line. No 65, it's a free instead. Or 45, I should say. Free taken quickly. McGowan. Anthony Malloy. Vinnie Murphy's come way back here, but still it's Donegal pressing forward. James McHugh going by the tackles. Barry McGowan, cultured footballer, knocking it in invitingly. It's nicely head-spelled by Manus Boyle. The chance was there. Well, a rueful look there on the face of Manus Boyle. They don't get too many goal-scoring chances. That was a particularly good one.
When Donegal can kick the ball in high, if players like Manus Boyle are able to feel like that, a great chance of a goal. Very bad attempt and screws it wide. At least he should have got a point out of it. But Donegal should play a lot more longer balls in now when they have the win. Well, if Donegal are patient enough and they're good enough, they still could win this game with points, even though they've only 25 minutes and they're 6 points behind. They came from 5 down last Sunday, and with the strength of the win, 6 points is not actually that much.
I'm sure they'll look back on last Sunday, Donegal, especially that disallowed goal by Manus Boyle. Might well have been a turning point. Paul Curran, we haven't seen too much of him this afternoon, but then again it's been the forwards who've been doing most of the business. Anthony Malloy takes it fouled. Vinny wants to take it back. Not exactly going back the right amount of distance. Referee again whistling back the play. The free will have to be taken again, and Brian White just having a word with Vinnie Murphy, reminding him of the rules. Brian Murray plays his club football with civil service here in Dublin. Fisted down there by Paddy Moore into the waiting Paul Clark. On to Mick Deegan. The Dublin side that last won the National League back in 1991, beating Kildare that day. Heary belting it down. Again, some holding. And the referee this time saluted by the fans on Hill 16 for being so vigilant and noting the holding. So Paul Clark makes his way back. As usual, he takes about 11 steps backwards. Just watch it again, just in case he changes the routine on this occasion. But for the longer frees, we noted he was taking about 11 steps back, and then he was right-angling himself before coming forward to take the kick. Well within his reach, breeze straight into his face. Dublin looking for a first score in the second half, and he's got it. That's 5 points from frees for Paul Clark. So valuable kicks, and also very good in general play.
Well, of course, Paul Curran would be on the team probably all the time, except for the hamstring problems that he's been experiencing. Had a very good year at centre field for Dublin last year.
Jack Sheedy knocks it on. Donal Reid. James McHugh. Noel Hegarty trying to make some progress, and the two midfielders there trying to deny them every inch of the way. McGowan belted in again into the inside forward line, dropped by Paddy Moran. John O'Leary taking it with some difficulty. Out to Moran again. And you feel that Dublin will have a lot of defending to do during the second half. playing with only 14 players, playing against the breeze, and Donegal with the incentive to put in a very creditable second half. Matt Gallagher, adjudged to have stepped out over the sideline. Well, I'm not too sure that the whole of the ball was out. It's been taken quickly. Paul Clark, outside here to Eamon Heary. Can drive this over the bar with his left boot, and again he's put it wide. Third wide of the second half for Dublin. 9 wides in all against 8 for Donegal. Reid linking up here with Noel Hegarty, waiting for Anthony Molloy to come into the equation. He's got Sylvester Maguire alongside him. Here is the number 23. Back to Hegarty again. Denied space by Guyden. Still going forward. It drops gleeful into the arms there of Eamon Heary. Some wrestling, some disagreement, and a little bit more than that. And the Donegal players and the Dubliners as well, realising that common sense should prevail here this afternoon. Dublin slow to retreat. Donegal have the free. Manus Boyle will be the kicker from the 20-metre line. Well, he needs a very accurate kick here in front of the goal. Should be, and indeed is, a third Donegal point. 2 of them from the boot of Manus Boyle from frees. Just one from play, that from Barry Cunningham. John O'Leary's kick out. Getting good distance against the wind. Brian Murray picking it up. Free kick quickly taken in towards Tony Boyle. Dermot Deasy trying to flick it away from the dangerous full forward, who has yet to score against Dermot Deasy. Stepped out over the end line, and it's going to be a 45. Declan Bonner is ready to kick this one. And again it's gone to the right this time, and again it's gone wide. Martin Gavigan, the centre-half back, coming in, and the player who is being replaced appears to be Martin Shovlin. So Paul Clark, the man who's been causing a lot of problems, and Gavigan says, I'm in there to mark you tightly, and I mean to do so from the word go. And he was a flu victim last weekend and really didn't justify his selection. Still they're at it. Hands, knees and bumps a daisy. Brian Murray racing for this one. They need possession, they need scores. Anthony Molloy, the team captain. He'll be happy with a point. He kicks it over. Closing down the gap. It's now been reduced to 5 points. Well, they came back from being 5 points down last week in the second half, but they now have only a quarter of an hour in which to do it. This is the score again.
Very good fielding by Brian Murray, but these kick-outs of John O'Leary are going to be a problem for Dublin. Gives it on to Anthony Molloy, and Anthony Molloy shows that he is a really good captain. Runs outside. Paul Curran kicks a very good point off his left foot, but John O'Leary will need to keep his kick-outs to the wings rather than straight down the middle.
James McHugh taking the free quickly. Barry Gowan coming up to join the attack from his corner back spot. Doran trying to put in a challenge. Laid outside there to Donald Reid. Sylvester Maguire now. They're hand passing it about in there. Noel Hegarty on for McHugh to put it over the bar. James McHugh, the scorer. His first point. We could be in for a very interesting last 14 minutes to this match. Remember, there would have to be extra time.
Donegal are beginning to really move at this stage, and Joyce McMullen kicks a great point. A couple of very, very questionable hand passes in that move. The technique used by Sylvester Maguire in particular is rather questionable, whether it's legal or not.
Possession vital at midfield. It's won by Eamon Heary, carried forward. Mick Deegan there in support as always. Loves to attack. This is a good run right across the face of goal there by Jim Gavin. Selflessly running for it, trying to make the score count. He's hit it wide. It was a good run across the face of the Donegal goal to set up the chance for himself. 9 points to 5 the position. On my watch, 13 minutes remaining. Plenty of time.
Gary Walsh should be able to kick short to any, with Donegal having an advantage. They should be able to get a short kick out, but it doesn't matter at this stage that they're in possession.
Tony Boyle wins it from that knock in there by Rambo. And this is Hegarty, and he's put it wide. He's put it wide. That was a great chance. The free player who loves to get up there and attack. After Martin Gavigan had hit that ball forward for Tony Boyle to set up Noel Hegarty.
It was a great chance for Donegal. Noel Hegarty coming through and had men running on both sides of him. Barry Cunningham and Manus Boyle, and he should have handed it off to one of them, and they were in on John O'Leary. Donegal might rue that miss yet.
11 wides for Donegal, 10 for Dublin. Huge leap in the air there by Paul Clark, but the ball drops down kindly for Brian Murray of Donegal. Kieran Walsh coming out there, pushed by Manus Boyle. Dublin get the free kick. Kieran Walsh preparing to take the free for Dublin. Good 40 metres back. Wind holding up the progress of the ball, but Jack Sheedy with a voracious appetite for hard work going round Bonner, supported here by Eamon Heary. Good support play by Dublin as always. Clark kicking it forward towards Doran, one of the newcomers this season. He's got through, jersey pulled, fouled, allowed an advantage, and it's Vinnie Murphy who kicks it, and he puts it up and over the bar. Well, there was no question Doran was being fouled that time by Barry McGowan, and the referee Brian White allowed a very good advantage, and Vinnie Murphy has kicked a second point. Well, the referee was criticised for so much of his actions last Sunday. I wonder, will this please the critics?
Martin Doran does very well, even though he's definitely been fouled from behind, and Vinnie Murphy gets it a chance of a goal, but he takes his point.
Well, to play for 55 minutes of the match, or 54, with only 14 players, and to be leading splendidly at this stage is quite a performance. But you'll expect a big finish, as there's a trip there on Tony Boyle from the All-Ireland champions. Tony not too pleased there with that trip, I think, by Jack Sheedy. Brian Murray coming up to kick this one. Targeting Tony Boyle again. Tony Boyle being marked now by Paul Curran. Boyle out around the half-forward line. Sylvester Maguire going in a switch there with the full forward.
Donegal has still plenty of time to at least draw the match with points if they're patient enough, but the likelihood is that they'll probably start going for goals if they don't get a couple of points within the next few minutes.
Manus Boyle, 2 points from 4 attempts so far, and it's now 3 from 5, a third point. So 10 points to 6. A goal and a point between the teams. There's plenty of time on this wind-swept afternoon. Dublin on the attack. Paul Clark out there against Matt Gallagher. A push, and the referee across there. Well, Paul Clark there having some words with Barry McGowan. Meanwhile, on the ground, there's Matt Gallagher picking himself up. I make it 4 Dubliners so far to be booked in this game. 1 sent off, Paul Clark there, and Matt Gallagher.
In this incident, Paul Clark was fouled originally, and the referee hadn't given him a free, I think, and that's what caused the pile-up in there.
So the hot ball is what results. Vinnie Murphy there against Brian Murray. Stepping into the breach is Rambo. Martin Gavigan very near the sideline. And the referee now, I think, getting ready to see the arrival of Martin McHugh. But can he make a difference with time ebbing away? Just a little under 6 minutes to go. Paddy Moran. Mick Deegan standing his ground, supported here by Jack Sheedy. On towards the waiting Martin Doran. Remember, it's 10 points to Dublin, 6 points to Donegal. High challenge there by Martin Gavigan, fouling the player who was in the follow-up that time. And Rambo's been called across. The second half substitute, again having his name taken for this action.
Jack Sheedy again involved, as nearly all always today, gives a great ball up along the line there to Martin Doran, who cuts in field and goes at the Donegal defence. At this stage, Rambo comes out and stops him, shoulder all right, but it was in the chest of Martin Doran, then follows through with the boot on Jack Sheedy and fouls him, giving away a free when Donegal need to keep the game going.
Paul Clarke is ready and raring to kick it. 5 points his contribution so far. That's 5 out of 7 attempts. Once again, positions himself in this interesting fashion, psyching himself up well within his range to kick, and after all of that he puts it wide. It remains 10 points to 6, and Donegal are bringing in on Farbiog. Martin McHugh coming in. He hasn't come in just yet, he's on the field, but he hasn't been legally introduced into the match. He'll come in a few seconds. Martin Gavigan kicking. Down it goes towards Sylvester Maguire, fisted away by Dermot Deasy, supported by Mick Deegan. Clever play at the back by the Doves as Kieran Walsh was fouled, kicking that one away. Referee opted to allow play to continue. Paul Curran, supported here by Niall Guyden, getting away from the despairing lunge of Tony Boyle. On towards Paul Clarke, one of the stars of this match. Kicked into open space for the 14 men. Vinnie Murphy going in there but nudging his man before he kicked it, and the referee has whistled up the play. It's going to be a free out to Donegal, and again the jersey tugged. 3 minutes to go. Matt Gallagher kicking on an afternoon of some frustration for the All-Ireland champions, who seek to atone, or Dublin seeking to atone for last September's lapse. Tony Boyle nicely on. James McHugh needing support, getting it from Boyle again. A point will do here, and he's kicked it wide. I think he was trying to kick it cleverly into the top left-hand corner of John O'Leary's goal, but in the end he misdirects it. Once again, Paul Clarke striving to get a piece of the action. It's Noel Hegarty breaking away, supported by Barry McGowan. On for Hegarty again. Well, what a goal for Donegal. We've said it already, would do for this match, but perhaps about 10 minutes ago. Now we're heading in towards injury time. Jack Sheedy, I think, appreciating that the title is as good as won. They built up that very comfortable first half lead, leading by 8 points to 1. They've tagged on just 2 points in the second half, Dublin, playing against the wind and down to 14 men. Nonetheless, you feel it was a title that they simply had to win on the basis of their first half performance.
That free there to Jack Sheedy sums up the whole game. Started off 3 or 4 yards behind Anthony Malloy in the race for possession and still got there in front of him.
Matt Gallagher to kick the sideline ball. The amateur whistlers wanting to call a halt to proceedings. Martin Gavigan going by, and the referee has just noted that Declan Bonner has been involved in an incident with one of the Dublin players, maybe Paul Curran. He's calling the two of them together. Referee Brian White has been very busy this afternoon, laying down the law, sending Tommy Carr off after 5.5 minutes. So the referee looks like he's going to throw the ball in. Paul Beelan is certainly ready, likewise Brian Murray. Beelan for Dublin, winning it. Kicked forward. Paul Clarke, player who scored 5 points from frees. And it's all over, and Dublin regain the National League title. In part, at least, they atoned for last September's lapse. The champions played a bit better in the second half, but overall, a less than convincing display by Donegal. Dublin were the hungrier, they wanted to win, and in Paul Clarke they're in picture. They had a player who had the confidence and the composure to kick some marvellous frees. A big afternoon for Paul, recalled to the Dublin team, celebrating with Martin Doran. In the end, there were only 4 points in it, but the full-time score in this Royal Ivor National Football League final reads Dublin 10 points, Donegal 6.
effort, and Donegal were bound to come back. And again, they came back this time, but our midfield and half-backs actually closed them down anytime they threatened, and a lot of support coming back from the two remaining half-forwards.
Very disappointed here. Disappointed more so in the fact that we didn't perform. But credit to the Dublin team. They were much hungrier, they're much sharper and much keener to win, and that reflected in the way they played. And the sending off the man in the first half made them keener, and we seemed to lose our way accordingly.
I think when Tommy was sent off, it just created so much space up front, and we just popped the ball into space and ran off it, and it worked out for us.
I suppose the sending off being so early, it really lifted Dublin, and we went at them and they covered very, very well in defence. And then there was a lot of space up front in the first half, and they broke well and stuck over the points, and at the end of the day, that's what told against us.
We were very upset that we lost the All-Ireland final last year. We didn't play football. You know, I think we're playing football now, and I think it showed today that if we do play football and run at teams, we can be very effective.
The work rate from throughout the team, from John right up into Martin Dordan, was great. We worked very hard for each other. With Tommy being sent off, we had a minute or two then to communicate amongst each other that the task was just as hard, but the work had to be done. And when we got in at half time, that's what didn't have to be spectacular football, but if we worked hard in possession and worked hard when they were in possession, you know, the results would come.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we're down to Wexford in 3 weeks' time, and we won't get much sympathy down there from Wexford. And you know, championship. Even though today the last couple of games have been knockout football, you know, fortunately the championship is a different level. If you're stepping up your game again, then you guys have done very well. Jim Gavin came in today. He's played a couple of league games. Paddy Moran, Johnny Calver, Martin Dorn, and it's proved that. I mean, if you give players a chance, and you know, and they come in, they'll take it. And it's done the panel well, because players in the panel can see that they've something to aim for, and they will get a chance to get in the team.
He did today. Mind you, this was a Donegal caller, a little bit harsh, I should suggest to you, but nonetheless, let's have a look at this again and tell me what you think.
Well, it was a bit out of character for Tommy Carr, because he generally is not involved in any a blatant kick, and the referee had. But himself and Brian Murray obviously have had something going on for the last couple of matches, and that's a blatant kick, and the referee had no option but to put him off. I think in the Garda versus Army game there was an incident, and both of them play club football in Dublin, and there seems to be something going on between the two of them there. They obviously don't like each other very much anyway, I suppose we could say that. But from a Dublin point of view, if Tommy Carr is suspended for 3 months for kicking, it leaves him out for almost all of the championship. So it could be a very severe penalty for Tommy to pay for doing something very, very stupid.
It could be very costly. Let's look at the trend of the game today, Colin. And after that, we'll be talking to Kieran Barr about today's